Welcome to Charlotte Dixon, where Filipino horror stories aren't just told, they come alive. Every rumor, every scream, every secret that should have stayed buried, we bring them into the light. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and let the darkness begin. They called her a sinner. They said she was carrying her brother's child. They laughed at her, posted her face, and watched her break. But what the neighborhood didn't know was this. Her silence was protection. Her pain was power. And the child growing inside her was never meant to forgive. This is the story of Aina, of Natalia, of three women who made gossip their weapon, and found out too late that some whispers wake monsters. This is the pulse beneath her ribs. Let's begin. Aina didn't remember falling asleep. All she remembered was the sound of the ceiling fan, ticking faintly above her, and the weight of the day pressing on her shoulders. Yet she awoke with a strange warmth on her chest, not the kind that burned but pulsed, like a second heartbeat, faint and trembling beneath her ribs. She didn't need to open her eyes. She knew who it was. She could feel it. It was the same sensation she'd get when he'd wrap his arms around her from behind, whispering nonsense into her ear after a long shift. A sense of belonging, of coming home. But this was different. She slowly opened her eyes. The pale light of dawn filtered through the curtains, casting long stripes across the bedsheets. Her breath hitched. Perrin was there. Not in front of her, not sitting by the bed, but inside her, like a presence. Like a thread of him sewn tightly into her soul. His scent still lingered faintly in the air. Laundry soap, engine grease, and the faintest hint of rain on concrete. Her arms wrapped instinctively around her chest, as though she could hug that presence, anchor it to herself, not let it vanish. She closed her eyes again and saw him, his face. Clean-shaven, lips always smiling softly, brown eyes with that hidden shine. He looked like he had just come home from work, wearing that blue and gray uniform, dust still clinging to the hem, hair slightly damp from the motorbike helmet. Aina's lips parted. "You're home?" she whispered. A voice answered, "Go back to sleep." Her heart dropped. She snapped her eyes open. The room was empty. Her breathing picked up. She glanced around, the silence pressing in from all sides. But then movement, gentle, familiar, arms wrapped around her waist from behind. A face nestled against her nape, the warmth of his chest pressing against her back. "I know you're hungry," she heard. She didn't need to ask what he meant. Her hands moved slowly, hesitantly, toward his, as if afraid this was all in her mind. But they were there, solid, cold, trembling. She turned, and for a moment, she was 14 again, hiding in her grandmother's kitchen, hoping the rain outside would never stop, just so he'd stay longer. Perrin was her childhood, her comfort, and her forbidden curiosity. She looked into his face, but something was wrong. He looked too pale. His eyes, those same brown eyes, had a red sheen beneath them, not glowing, just tired, strained. His lips trembled. "I missed you," he said. She reached for his face. "Perrin, are you?" She stopped. He didn't speak, just leaned his forehead against hers. His breath was shallow. And then she remembered. The sickness, the vomiting, the way he stopped eating with her and Natalia, the faint, metallic scent he carried now. And the night she caught him staring at her neck. Everything started clicking into place, but not the way a horror movie would. This wasn't fear. This was mourning. Mourning something that was still alive. Mourning the truth she hadn't dared face. He was starving, but not for food. Her arms wrapped tighter around him. She felt his breath on her neck, shallow, erratic. Then he pulled away. "No," he muttered, backing off. "I can't." "Talk to me," she said. "Please." But he vanished into the bathroom. She heard the faucet run, and then silence. No splashing, no coughing, just stillness. When Natalia arrived later that afternoon, Aina was still sitting by the doorway of the bathroom, waiting. Natalia, younger by 3 years, dropped her bag by the sofa and crouched beside her. He's getting worse, isn't he? Aina nodded. He won't listen to me, Natalia whispered. He doesn't want to hurt you. That's why. What is he? Natalia froze. You know? I don't know everything, Aina said. Just enough to realize. He's not just sick. The younger woman looked at her, hesitation in her eyes. Then slowly she spoke. He's a vampirin. The word hung in the air like smoke. Aina blinked. Like a vampire? Yes, but not the ones in movies. Vampirins aren't immortal. They age, they bleed, but they survive on blood. Not because they want to, but because if they don't, they die. And the longer they resist it, the more unstable they become. Aina's voice trembled. So he's in pain. Natalia nodded. And he's entering bloodlust. The next hours passed like glass cracking. Everything fragile, every word sharp. They tried to eat dinner, sinigang, her husband's favorite. But he didn't come out. Aina made a choice. She stood, wrapped a shawl around her, and walked to the bathroom. She knocked once. No answer. Twice. A long silence. Then a growl. Not like a dog's. Not human either. Just deep. Gut-wrenching. The door creaked open. Perrin stood there, hunched over the sink. His reflection in the mirror was trembling. His face gaunt, veins dark beneath his skin. He didn't look at her. You need blood, Aina said softly. He shook his head. No, you'll die. I'd rather. She walked in. No, he growled. She ignored him. I know what you are now, she whispered. And I'm still here. Does that mean nothing? He turned sharply. You don't understand. I could kill you. Then bite me, she said, stepping closer. But don't die in front of me. His eyes glowed faintly. Her hands reached out, rested on his shoulders. She could feel him shaking. Bite, she whispered. Take enough. No more. I trust you. He hesitated. And then, like a broken dam, he lunged. But not with violence. His lips grazed her skin, right below the collarbone. There was no pain, just a deep cold, like snow falling from inside her. Her fingers dug into his back, anchoring him until finally he pulled away, his eyes blurred. I'm sorry, he whispered, trembling. I didn't mean. She smiled. You're still my husband. The night and then she collapsed. With the bite. It didn't end with the revelation. It ended in silence. The kind that comes after the waves crash onto the shore and retreat. Quiet, almost sacred. Aina lay there, chest against his, their breaths still uneven, but no longer fearful. Perrin's heartbeat, faint but present, echoed through her ribcage, a rhythm she had unknowingly memorized over years of loving a man who never let her see all of him. Now she saw him, and she stayed. He had fallen asleep. His breathing was steady, his features soft, less strained, less tortured. But she remained awake, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. One hand rested on her belly, the other on her husband's cooling skin. Their child. The words echoed like bells. She hadn't planned to tell him yet. Not like this. She had dreamed of surprising him with a small gift, a tiny pair of booties tucked in a box. She imagined his tearful smile, the disbelief, the joy, but fate had its own timing, and blood had a way of rewriting plans. Her fingers trembled as she traced the outlines of his jaw. She thought about Natalia's words, about the chest, not the neck. Vampirins preferred to bite near the heart, not because of ease, but because of something more primal, more intimate. Blood from that area held a different essence. Love, trust, bond. She shivered, remembering the moment he leaned into her, barely holding back. The way his breath turned ragged, how his lips hovered not on her neck but above her heart. Now she understood. Don't fall asleep while he's feeding, Natalia had warned. But it had been too late. It took 2 hours. 2 hours of gasping, of holding him, of grounding his spiraling instincts before he finally calmed. And she had stayed conscious the entire time. She had to. When he finally opened his eyes, his first words were not of apology or fear. They were of hope. Is it true? He asked. Are we having a baby? She nodded. pulling a small plastic bag from beneath the bedside drawer. Inside, 10 pregnancy test sticks, all positive, all hers. His eyes widened. 10? He whispered, almost laughing. I wanted to be sure, she said. He picked them up one by one, staring at the double lines, the tiny promises, the future wrapped in red ink. I'm going to be a father, he whispered again, louder this time, then repeated louder still. I'm going to be a father. He looked at her with tear-filled eyes. How long have you known? 2 weeks, she said softly. I wanted to surprise you. His smile faded a little. And yet, tonight happened first. She could hear the pain behind the joy, a reminder of how his nature had nearly destroyed the very thing he loved. I'm sorry I kept it from you, she added. I thought you were just tired from work. I didn't know. Perrin looked away. I didn't want to scare you. I've lost people before because I was honest. I thought, if I could just hold out long enough, maybe I could live like a normal man. You are a normal man, she said. You're just one with a little more history in your veins. He laughed at that. They lay together for a while longer. Perrin placed his hand gently on her belly. Though it was still flat, his vampirin senses felt the warmth, the faintest flicker of life forming inside. I can feel him, he whispered. She chuckled. Already deciding the baby's a boy? No, just hoping, he grinned. But remember, she added firmly, you're not allowed near my chest or belly until the baby's born. He raised both hands in surrender. Understood, ma'am. The moment was light, soft. For the first time in days, Aina felt at peace. Until morning came. She woke up to the sound of chatter outside the house. Peeking through the blinds, she saw them, 3 women, standing by the gate. Princess, Joy, and Marie, neighbors, but not ordinary ones. These were the same women who, according to Natalia's whispered stories, had been caught kissing their husbands in public places. Always at night, always during full moons. Not scandalous kisses, not romantic, but ritualistic, frenzied, possessive. There had been rumors, strange sounds coming from their homes, a sudden spike in the disappearance of stray dogs. One neighbor claimed to have seen Princess crouching by a tree at midnight, digging something up and whispering in a language no one recognized. Joy, the quietest one, was often seen burning dried herbs and smearing red stains on her windows. Marie, the most charming, always wore sunglasses, even at dusk. They weren't just neighborhood gossip. They were feared, and now they were standing outside Aina's gate, as if summoned. She stepped out. Good morning, Aina said, careful to keep her tone neutral. Princess smiled, her lips too red. We heard a commotion last night. Joy nodded. Is everything all right? Marie tilted her head. You seemed disturbed. Perrin stepped out behind Aina, shirt unbuttoned, but eyes alert. Everything's fine, he said coldly. Thanks for checking. Their gazes flicked to him, and they lingered. Aina felt a chill crawl up her spine. Marie spoke, her voice syrupy. Your aura's changed, Perrin. Stronger. He didn't respond. Princess giggled. You fed, haven't you? Aina stiffened. Joy smiled. Careful now. The more you feed, the more they come. And with that, they turned and walked away, heels clicking, laughter trailing behind them like smoke. Aina shut the gate and turned to Perrin. Who are they? He looked at her, grim. Old blood. Witches. Not human. Not fully. Why are they here? They sense new life, new power. Blood awakened something. And now they're watching. Aina's hands went protectively to her stomach. What do they want? Perrin didn't answer, but his silence said enough. The child growing inside her was more than a baby. It was a blending of 2 worlds. And now, others wanted to claim it. After the blood feeding, the world continued as if nothing had changed. Chickens still clucked in their coops, tricycles still sputtered down dusty roads, and the sun, ever persistent, baked the streets with its golden weight. But inside Aina's chest, something had shifted. And it wasn't just the baby. She sat quietly by the small window, her hands resting on her belly, fingers subconsciously tracing circles. Her skin felt stretched with unspoken weight. Behind her, Natalia was in the kitchen, stirring a mixture of milk, ginger, and honey, a remedy passed down from their grandmother for easing nausea during pregnancy. Aina had just returned from vomiting again, for the second time that morning. It wasn't just the hormonal tides. It was the pressure of secrets, of blood, of things watching them from beyond the window. 8. Are you sure you're okay? Natalia's voice floated in, concerned but steady. It's normal, Aina replied softly. Part of being pregnant, I guess. Natalia walked in with the warm mug. The smell was soothing, earthy, comforting. Aina took it with both hands, trying to keep her fingers from shaking. You know, Natalia began, sitting across from her. I've been thinking. Aina raised an eyebrow. There's a way to push back, Natalia said. Not against Perrin. Not against the baby. Against them. Aina's heart skipped. The neighbors. No, Natalia said. The 3, Princess, Joy, Marie. Their names hung like a curse between them. Aina knew who she meant. She had seen them standing outside the gate, heard the strange laughter, felt their eyes like hot needles pressing through walls. Natalia leaned closer, lowering her voice. Mary Jane told me they're starting to stir things up again. They're reviving the old GC. The gossip group chat? Aina asked, frowning. Natalia nodded. You know how they work. Starts with a rumor, then a twist, then a screenshot. Next thing you know, the whole barangi thinks you're hiding a cult in your backyard. Aina groaned, sipping the milk. I have enough to deal with, Nat. I'm pregnant. My husband's a vampirin. There are literal witches next door watching us like hawks. I can't fight neighborhood gossip too. That's just it, Natalia said, her voice firm. You don't have to fight them. You just have to protect yourself. Aina looked at her. What are you thinking? Natalia stood, walked toward the hallway, and returned with a small, weathered pouch made of banig and twine. She opened it slowly on the coffee table. Inside were dried leaves, crushed red stones, curled flower petals, and something faintly glittering like sand. What is this? Aina asked. A protective sigil, Natalia said. It's from Lola. I watched her do it when I was a kid. You place this under the bed. It wards off unwanted spirits, bad luck, spying eyes. And sometimes, she looked up, it can silence tongues. Aina felt her heart tighten. You want me to use magic? It's not magic, Natalia said. It's tradition. It's memory. It's defense. For a long while, Aina said nothing. Her eyes drifted toward the door. The sun had already risen high, but the shadows at the edges of the room clung stubbornly. Finally, she whispered, Okay, we'll use it. Natalia exhaled in relief. Outside, at the same time, the air in front of Mary Jane's coffee stall buzzed with tension. The kettle hissed as she poured hot water into 3 cups lined with instant coffee mix. Sugar, creamer, stir, click of a spoon. Pour, serve. Princess, Joy, and Marie sat with perfect posture on low plastic stools, their eyes scanning everything. They were dressed like it was Sunday service. Hair curled, lips painted, perfume wafting like poison. Their hands wrapped around their coffee cups like claws. As usual, they were early, too early, and as usual, they weren't there for the coffee. I saw her, Princess said, sipping slowly, outside their gate, last night. He was with her. Perrin? Joy asked, feigning surprise. Who else? Princess smirked. His hair was damp, his shirt was open, and she looked fed. Marie giggled. You always have such wild stories, P. Princess rolled her eyes. It's not wild when it's true. Mary Jane emerged from the back of the shop, towel slung over her shoulder. And here we go again, she muttered under her breath. Joy noticed her. Mary Jane, we're just chatting. Then chat somewhere else, she snapped. This is a coffee stall, not a gossip pulpit. Touchy, Marie said, raising her eyebrows. Mary Jane leaned on the counter. You 3 drive people away. I've seen it. Families move out. Rumors spread like rot. And for what? Because someone didn't greet you? Because someone got pregnant? We do what we must, Princess said coldly. People deserve to know the truth. No, Mary Jane said. You want people to hear your version of the truth. Because you need attention. You feed off it. There was a pause. Then Princess stood up, dusting imaginary dirt off her skirt. Let's go, girls. We're not welcome here. Joy smirked. It's fine. We've got more ears in the GC anyway. As they walked away, Mary Jane muttered under her breath, Brujas! But they heard. Princess turned around, smiling sweetly. Careful what you say. Sometimes the air listens. That night, Aina waited until Perrin had fallen asleep. His face was calm, the tension gone from his features. She took the pouch from Natalia and slipped it carefully under the bed, whispering a quiet prayer her grandmother used to chant. First, nothing happened. Then the air changed, thickened. She stood by the window and outside, through the haze of moonlight and rustling banana trees. She saw them, the three women, standing at the edge of the property line. Silent, still, watching. They didn't move, they didn't speak, but their eyes glowed faintly, like coals buried in ash. The pulse in her chest returned. Not the baby's, not her own, something else. Aina reached for the curtain. It was almost sunset when Perrin pulled it shut, his boots dusty, his face drawn with the same exhaustion Aina had grown used to. From the door, he went straight to the small round table near the kitchen. No greetings, no smiles. He fumbled with the tin can of coffee and the mismatched mugs, clinking noisily, the sound sharp and grating in the quiet house. The metallic clangs echoed, almost deliberate, almost loud enough to replace words. Aina, still curled on the couch, blinked slowly. Honey? She called. Is something wrong? Perrin didn't turn. He stirred his coffee too quickly, too harshly. The spoon rattled against ceramic. Nothing, he replied, voice clipped. Just tired. Are you sure? Aina asked, watching his shoulders tighten. He paused, took a long breath, and finally walked over to sit beside her. His eyes were darker than usual, not from bloodlust, but from something else. I heard something, he said, this morning, at the shop, while I was waiting for coffee. Aina tilted her head. From the three witches again? He nodded grimly. Princess was talking about you. Said she saw you with another man last night. Aina scoffed. I haven't stepped outside this house in 2 days. I can barely get up without throwing up. Perrin sipped his coffee and gritted his teeth. That's not what they're saying. They're spreading it like wildfire, on the GC, in the bakery, even in the tricycle stand. Those three, Aina sighed. They really live to ruin people, don't they? Just let it go, Natalia said from the kitchen, stirring another pot of ginger milk. They'll find someone new soon enough. They always do. But Aina knew better. The previous night, after Perrin fell asleep, Aina had stayed up in the dim living room, the soft fan humming above her, trying to forget the burning under her ribs, the bite that still hadn't fully healed. She had drifted off on the couch, half asleep, when Perrin's phone buzzed. She picked it up absent-mindedly, expecting a message from work. But it was a call. Unknown number. Advisor Natalia flashed below. Her stomach dropped. She quickly answered. Hello. Good evening. Is this Natalia's guardian? Aina blinked. This is her brother's wife. Yes. Why? The woman on the other end hesitated, then gently explained. Natalia hadn't attended school in almost a week. She wasn't responding to messages. She hadn't submitted any assignments. Her classmates said she had withdrawn from group chats. They were worried. Aina thanked her and ended the call. She stared at the phone in her hand, suddenly cold. Natalia had left the house each morning in her uniform. She always smiled, kissed Aina on the cheek, and walked confidently down the street. Aina stood up slowly, heart pounding. She crept toward Natalia's room, knocked lightly, and heard shuffling inside. The door opened a crack. Natalia's face was pale, her eyes puffy. Can I come in? Aina asked. Natalia stepped aside silently. As soon as the door clicked shut, Aina turned to her. "Why haven't you been going to school?" Natalia looked away. "Your advisor called," Aina added. "She's worried." "I'm worried. What's happening?" The girl bit her lip, and then it broke. Natalia's shoulders trembled as tears spilled down her cheeks. She collapsed onto the bed, clutching the pillow, sobbing silently into it. Aina sat beside her, gently rubbing her back. "Talk to me. They ruined everything," Natalia finally whispered. "Those three. They ruined me." Aina blinked. "What do you mean?" Natalia looked up, her face red, tears streaking. "There's a picture going around. Pregnancy test. 2 red lines. Someone said it was mine." Aina's blood froze. "What? They're telling everyone I'm pregnant," Natalia choked out. "That I slept around. That I seduced someone from another barangay. That I'm hiding a secret baby. And because of that, my classmates, my own classmates, they call me names." She hugged her knees to her chest. "Cheap, dirty, fast, low-flying girl. One boy even asked if he could try me too. Because I was easy now." Aina covered her mouth in shock. Natalia continued, her voice now trembling with rage and shame. "Princess started it. She told Joy. Then Joy added details. Then Marie said she saw me buying vitamins at the pharmacy. They added their usual lies. Someone photoshopped a test result and sent it to the GC. Even my teachers looked at me differently." Aina's hands tightened into fists. "They laughed about it in front of the Sari store," Natalia continued. "Mary Jane tried to stop them, but they just laughed at her too. And now I can't go back to school. I can't face them." Aina stood up. She wanted to scream. She wanted to break something. But instead, she hugged Natalia tightly, kissed the top of her head, and whispered, "You didn't deserve this. They even mentioned you," Natalia said weakly. "They said maybe I'm copying my sister-in-law. That maybe you were the one with the pregnancy test and I was covering for you." Aina closed her eyes. So that's what this was. This wasn't just about gossip. This was attack. Calculated, cruel, and dangerous. That night, Aina couldn't sleep. Perrin lay beside her, unaware of what had unfolded in Natalia's room. Outside the window, the moon was half full, but its light felt sharp, like glass. She stared at the ceiling, at the flickering shadow cast by the ceiling fan. And then, she heard it. Whispers. From the window. Not loud, just present. She got up, heart racing, and moved toward the curtain. Slowly, carefully, she pulled it aside. There, at the edge of the street, stood Princess. Alone. No Joy. No Marie. Just her. Smiling. Looking up at the window. And in her hand, a pregnancy test. She held it up like a trophy. And then, in a voice too sweet to be innocent, she mouthed something Aina could not hear. But she understood. "You're next." After the tears, the confession, and Aina's whispered promise to help her fight back, the girl simply withdrew into herself like a shadow melting into the corner of her bed. She turned her face to the wall, pulled the blanket over her head, and didn't make another sound. Aina sat there for a while, silent too, one hand on her growing belly and the other brushing Natalia's trembling back. She didn't realize how much her sister-in-law had been holding in, how long she had been drowning in whispers and shame. "Don't let them win," Aina had said softly, but Natalia never replied. That night, Aina couldn't sleep. She kept tossing, her mind racing with words she couldn't unhear. Whore, cheesy, fast girl. She seduced him, must have run in the family. Words that had no face but stung like nails in her skin. She laid there, feeling her baby shift inside her. The little flutters that used to bring her joy now only stirred worry. This child, this life she carried, would they too be dragged into the storm of slander? Then the messages started. It was close to midnight. Her messenger icon lit up again, and again, and again. When she finally opened it, her chest tightened. Saw her with someone again last night. Not Perrin. They're hiding something in that house. Maybe it's not just one vampire in that family. Natalia's pregnant. And guess who's the father? Don't be surprised if the baby has fangs. Dozens of screenshots, edited images, a photoshopped photo of Aina with glowing eyes and blood at her mouth. One particularly cruel message showed a fake sonogram with hybrid typed across the top in bold red letters. She scrolled, nausea curling up her throat. Her hand trembled as she reached to close the app. But then, one message stopped her. It was a link to a public Facebook page. Title: Expose the Raisin Family. And its banner? An edited family photo of her, Perrin, and Natalia, with blacked out eyes and red X marks on their foreheads. Beneath it, a caption: Gossip isn't evil if it saves the community. Truth must be spoken. Princess. Aina's body went cold. She tapped the About section. The page had only been up for less than 24 hours. Already over 1,200 shares. Hundreds of comments. People tagging neighbors, classmates, even barangay officials. Every word written like poison dipped in sugar. Giggling tones. Innocent accusations. Just questions. But they stung. They cut. Worse, they stuck. And among the commenters were familiar names: Joy Dela Cruz, Marie Esteban, neighbors from 2 streets over, a teacher, a tricycle driver. They were all part of it, feeding the lie. But what shook Aina the most was the post Princess pinned to the top. I never meant to hurt anyone. I just care about the truth. I saw Aina sneaking out at night while her husband was asleep. I saw Natalia buying pregnancy kits twice. I just think our neighborhood deserves better. Keep safe, mga kapitbahay. Evil can wear a smile too. Aina's fingers dug into her chest, right over the mark where Perrin had bitten her weeks ago. That spot still tingled, still remembered. Her whole body vibrated with rage. She looked up, realizing suddenly that the electric fan was still spinning. Its hum grew louder, deeper. Wrong. The air from it was too cold, too unnatural. It brushed against her face like fingers. She reached for the plug to turn it off, and froze. The fan was off, but it was still spinning. Whir. She stepped back, and the voice came, not from outside, not from her phone, but from the fan. Whore. Fast girl. Pregnant by her brother. Vampire lover. It was them. Their voices. From Messenger. From the Facebook page. From the sidewalk corners. Now here, inside her room, inside her walls, whispering through electricity and steel. Her skin crawled. Aina backed into the hallway and almost collided with Perrin. He was holding his phone too. His eyes were wild. I saw it, he said flatly. I read it. A long silence. I know where Princess lives. Perrin, she whispered. Don't. But he was already walking toward the door. He didn't slam it. He didn't growl or show his fangs. He simply vanished into the street. No words, no promises, just silence. Aina ran to the balcony, heart pounding, and that's when she saw it. Princess. She was already outside, standing at the corner of the street under the flickering barangay lamppost, dressed in her ridiculous nightgown and pink heels, her long fake lashes catching the moonlight. She stared straight at Aina's house and smiled. Aina didn't know if Princess could see her in the dark, but she swore she did, because Princess mouthed something. You're next. Then she turned and walked away, pink heels clicking down the street. Later that night, Mary Jane, the coffee vendor, felt it too. The air changed. Something pressed against her windows. She looked up from her couch, confused. No one was outside, but the hairs on her arms stood. Something was watching. And from far away, she heard it. A faint hum, like a fan, but not hers. She backed into her bedroom and locked the door. Across town, in a small rented house, Princess was cooking late-night adobo. She was humming to herself, twirling her spoon. Her husband sat in the sala, dozing off to the radio. Their kids snored softly in the back room. Princess, always needing to be the queen of attention, even in her own kitchen, talked to herself as she stirred. I'm not evil. I'm just honest. If people can't handle the truth, that's not my fault. The pot hissed. Then the lights flickered. Once, twice, then out. She stood still. "Luis?" she called. "Did you trip the switch?" No reply. "Luis?" she called again, louder. Still nothing. And then she felt it. A breath on her neck. She turned. Nothing there. The lights flickered back on. But now, there was something in the kitchen with her. It looked like a woman, floating, dressed in pink. No face, just skin stretched too tight over a smooth mask. His fingers glowed, his nails long, and from its mouth came the faintest, warped voice. "You're so beautiful. Can I take care of you?" Princess screamed, but the sound never left her throat. The figure surged forward, and the last thing Princess ever saw was her own image in a spoon, warped and stretching, before the spoon shattered into her skull. Later that night, neighbors heard nothing but the sound of sizzling garlic and silence. By morning, the street was lined with yellow tape. Princess was gone, but on the wall of her house, written in something pink and sticky, the day after Princess's death, the air in the neighborhood turned oddly silent. Her house was cordoned off, the police came and left quickly. Too quickly for a murder so grotesque. Most claimed it was a kitchen accident. Others whispered it was suicide. But Mary Jane knew better. She felt it in her gut. That was no accident. That was an execution. Word spread fast. But Joy and Marie? They didn't seem fazed. In fact, they seemed louder than ever. That afternoon, Joy uploaded an entire video calling out those who couldn't take a little fun. She even accused Mary Jane of siding with the monsters. In the comments, Marie left laughing emojis, and Joy shared another version of the photo of Aina, edited to look like a horror poster. "They're acting like they're cursed," Marie wrote. "Maybe they are." Joy replied, "If we disappear next, you know who to blame." Wink wink. The post had over 900 shares. Aina didn't respond. She was too busy watching her belly rise and fall, feeling her baby kick for the first time. Violently. It was no ordinary flutter. It was strong. Too strong. Perrin noticed it too. He placed a hand on her stomach and pulled back like it had shocked him. "It's not just blood in there," he whispered. "There's something else." Aina nodded. And then the dreams began. They came to Mary Jane first. She saw the three women, Princess, Joy, and Marie, standing at the edge of a cliff, laughing, their mouths stretched unnaturally wide. Behind them stood a pink figure, faceless, hovering, arms outstretched like wings. Then one by one, they were pulled backward, swallowed by the sky. Then came the scent. It started in Marie's house, sweet, rotten, like decaying roses. That night, her entire family gathered for dinner. She was in high spirits, laughing loudly, scooping rice, retelling the story of how she once caught Natalia hugging someone suspicious in a tricycle. Her voice echoed across the dining room. Her laughter infected the table. But halfway through dinner, she excused herself. "Nature's call," she said, chuckling. She entered the bathroom, flipped on the light, and sat down. That's when she noticed it. A soft flicker above her. Firefly, small, pink glowing, floating like a dream. "Cute," she whispered, reaching for it. The moment her fingers stretched forward, it changed. The glow deepened, the shape twisted, and with a soft crack, it unfolded into something not insect, not spirit, but both. Its eyes gleamed like molten glass. Its wings pulsed, and then it lunged. She opened her mouth to scream, but it was too late. The creature clamped down onto her chin, sinking through flesh like butter. Blood spilled onto her shirt. She flailed, kicked over the bin, her knees shaking against the ceramic floor. She tried to stand, but something inside her shifted. Her body was heavy, weak, drained. The firefly creature dropped to the floor, then twisted itself into a flat sheet, pale, translucent, and slithered across the bathroom tiles. Where it passed, the ground changed, bled. Marie collapsed. The sheet wrapped itself around her head, pushing into her mouth, her nose, her eyes. She convulsed once, twice, then stopped. When her husband knocked on the door 15 minutes later, there was no answer. When he pushed it open, the light inside flickered, revealing only one thing. A white sheet on the floor. No blood, no scream, no body. Just the message written on the mirror in steam. 2 down. And Joy? She didn't wait for the spirit to come. That night, she packed a bag for her kids. They were going to perform in school the next day. She told her husband she'd go to sleep early. He kissed her forehead, but she didn't sleep. Instead, she crept into the guest room, unpacked the box she never showed anyone. Inside it, several old receipts, screenshots of messenger threads she had saved, and the original photo of Natalia, taken from the second floor of a nearby store. She had taken it. She had started it all. Not Princess, not Marie. Joy was the root. She laughed again, staring at the photo, flipping it around, until she noticed it had changed. On the back, someone had drawn something, in blood, a circle, 3 faces, one crossed out, another scribbled, the third, hers intact, smiling. She gasped, and then the lights went out. Presence filled the room, heavy, choking. She turned to the mirror, and there it was, the pink woman. This time, her mouth was not empty. It opened like a cavern, a void, and from that void came every word Joy had ever spoken. Every lie, every cruel joke. She clutched her ears. Stop! But the pink woman stepped closer. Let's make a new story, she whispered. Joy's screams were never heard. Only the neighbor's dog barked for hours. By morning, the school performance was canceled. The announcement on the barangay page was vague. Due to a family emergency, the Dela Cruz family will not be attending. Aina read the notice silently. She held her belly. The child inside kicked once, then stopped. Perrin walked in. It's done, he said quietly. 3? She asked. He nodded. The air is lighter. Natalia emerged from her room. She looked better, more alive. No more dark circles. No more hollow stares. I slept well, she said. Aina smiled. She looked at her husband. Did you do something? Perrin shook his head. No. Then who? Outside, Mary Jane served coffee to a couple of tricycle drivers. She glanced up at Aina's house, and for the first time in weeks smiled. No shadows at the gate, no whispers in the fan, just silence. And somewhere, under the full morning light, a firefly drifted across the breeze. It glowed faint pink, before fading. So you who are listening now, are you a gossip in your neighborhood? Do you poison others with your words, your screenshots, your fake truths? Be careful. Somewhere in the dark, something listens. And some monsters don't forget.